So many murders and mysteries, all placed around Put-in-Bay. Thankfully, these are made-up stories from the mind of author Bob Adamov. Bob joins us today to share the background on his books and how he came to this second career as an island author. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So we want to talk about the cast of characters in the novels, but tell us how a corporate executive suddenly became a writer.
Well, I've had a dream since I was 8 years old to write, and my career took off into a corporate world where I was an executive at Goodyear and Mr. Coffee. And I started in 2002 writing as a hobby because that bug was still embedded in me. And so wrote several more novels, and then in 2012 I took early retirement and continued to work on the novels, writing full time. And I've got number 10 coming out this month, Golden Torpedo, written in the style of my buddy Clive Cussler, and it'll be out. I'm living my dream. It's never too late to go for your dream.
That's absolutely right. So all of your books are really part of a series featuring Emerson Moore as the lead character. So tell us about him.
Okay. Emerson is a Washington Post investigative reporter. He lives in D.C., but in the first book, Rainbow's End, he makes a trip to Put-in-Bay to visit his aunt. And he solves a mystery on the island while he's there. Well, that summer, reader reaction was so strong about Put-in-Bay that in book number 2, Pierce the Veil, I move our character permanently to Put-in-Bay because as an investigative reporter, it doesn't matter where you're domiciled. He's going out around the world on his investigations and research. So he still keeps his houseboat on the Potomac River in D.C. for when he has to make those trips into D.C. for the Washington Post.
Okay, and you call your work faction because it has so much reality in it along with the fiction. So, and that includes your characters' names, right?
Right. So let's start with Emerson Moore. The Emerson part of his name came from John Emerson, my first boss at Goodyear, who was a role model. The Moore part came from my good buddy Jack Moore, who was always my sidekick. If I was writing a skit and I needed somebody to be in the skit with me, he would participate. But I like to use real people in my books too and surprise them. They never know when they're going to pop up in one of the books. And just recently, I had to call one of my friends to let her know that I was going to have her commit a murder in one of the scenes, and I wanted to make sure it was okay. And what a surprise to me to find out she was a crack rifle shot, so it worked out really well.
Wow.
Then in one of my other books, Pierce the Veil, I had a little fun with the then mayor of Cuyahoga Falls, Don Robart. I put him in the book, but I spelled his name backwards and used Trebor, and he got a big kick out of that.
But the other part of the faction is a little more serious, right?
It is. There's a dark side. So in my book, Zenobia, we deal with human trafficking. And we try to use the book to educate people about trafficking and how young girls can be targeted, so we create awareness with parents. And then we also discuss Toledo, which is the #4 gateway city for human trafficking in the United States.
Wow, did not know that.
Yes, and it's a shocker. We worked with the Human Trafficking Coalition, the court system, and the police department up there when we put together the research for the book. Then Pierce the Veil, one of the heroes has multiple sclerosis. So we try to create awareness and discuss multiple sclerosis and the capabilities of people with a disability. But our hero also has fun times, and he goes around the world for research. So he's in Egypt, he's in Israel, he's in Spain, he's in Germany, England, he's down in Key West, he's down in the Cayman Islands and New Orleans. In fact, I should tell you, I actually had to make 3 research trips to the Cayman Islands to make sure I got my facts right.
Oh, that's a shame.
But it worked. And and we worked with, we have terrorists in the book, we have ex-Navy SEALs, and in one of the books we have the President of the United States, and he actually disappears before the convention in Cleveland when he's up for renomination.
All right, sounds like a great series of books to read. Award-winning author Bob Adamov tracks down the trails of intrigue and espionage and murder and mayhem. To read more about it, use the information that's coming up next. My thanks to Bob for joining us today.
Find out more or order books by calling Bob Adamov at 330-2 289-7616 or click to www.packardislandpublishing.com.